afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk on the WCOBM network. My name is Melissa Wiggins. I'm your host today, and I am joined this afternoon with a guest that's probably familiar to you. His name is Mr. Ray Torres. He's a volunteer member with the Real Talk Youth Impact Program. He's been on our show before. Ray, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I know that you are extremely involved in the Real Talk Youth Impact Program, but for this segment, I want to concentrate on what's been going on with Ray, what you're doing outside of the program, different projects that you're working on. Tell us about some of the things that you're working on outside of the program.
Well, as last time I was a guest here, we talked about my book that was published, The Chauffeur. So since then, I won an award, International Latino Book Award. And it's opened up a few doors for me since then. And right now I'm in pre-production as far as turning this book into a documentary. So right now we're going over fine-tuning things before we get started in filming, and I'm excited about that. And that way I can showcase my talent as a writer, as a director, and start putting projects together. This is my baby right now. I have numerous projects that I've been writing, screenplays. Also been having meetings back and forth in Los Angeles on potential partners that want to partner up on future projects. Also, on top of that, I'm enrolled in Class CSN. They have a videography and film program, and I think I'm just following my dreams, my passion. Waking up every day thankful for the opportunities that I have, enjoying still working with kids, Real Talk, trying to change lives, one youth at a time, and just when I wake up daily, I just try to say, okay, which way do I need to go? And I try to just focus on that, and I'm trying to stay focused on one project at a time, and finish it up.
Okay, well, as if the name itself doesn't give the book away, The Chauffeur, what's the premise for the book? What can the readers expect to see in there, and why were you motivated to write this book?
Well, the book is my life story. Growing up in Los Angeles, California, influenced by gangs, by drugs, by my surroundings. Uneducated. I eventually got involved in drugs, still in car stereos, graduated to drug trafficking. And one of the reasons why I wrote this book is because I wanted to share my story of, I knew that that's not the way I wanted to go in life. And I ended up getting an 18-year prison sentence for a first-time nonviolent drug offense. And during those 18 years, I had plenty of time to look at life, to think about where I was going in life, and to realize that, life is not about me, what I can take, but what can I give back.
Sure.
So during that time, my thought process started changing, and I started realizing, wait a minute, I don't want to be remembered as a drug dealer, or I don't want to be remembered as somebody doing bad. So I started working with kids, I started taking notes, I started writing just a journal, and then once I was released from incarceration, I really started hammering out the book, and my intentions were to write it, to share stories, to change lives, and hopefully the people that are living that lifestyle or that are straddling the fence, that they can see the harm that it can cause, but they can also see the goodness that can come out of it when you are doing something good. So I was uneducated, dropped out of school, high school. I didn't get my education until I was incarcerated. I got my high school diploma. I started taking college classes, and then I couldn't even read or write. My first book,
Wow.
When I was incarcerated, I couldn't even read or write. And don't get me wrong, when I was doing my criminal activity, I owned real estate and I owned body shops and dealerships, but it was through contacts that people that were smarter than me. It was the money that was buying all this stuff. But it wasn't until I got incarcerated that I got my formal education. And then and the thing is that the book, I didn't write it to get rich. I wrote it to change lives, and and if my story of bad choices, of my stories of bad choices, if they can change one person's life, then I did my part. Then it was worth everything that I've been through. It was
Sure.
worth the pain and the heartache and the mistakes. And I'm going to tell you what, at 49 years old today,
Would you change anything at all?
you know what, would I change it?
Yes.
I wouldn't change anything in the past, but I wouldn't do it again, put it that way.
So you're now an award-winning author. Describe what that feeling is like and when you realized that you were receiving an award.
It's coming from somebody that couldn't read or write, that read their first book in prison, which was Masters of the Game.
Oh, you remember the book?
I remember the book. And being able to, I mean, I couldn't even speak in front of people at one time. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't even read in front of people. And for me to now accept an award in front of people, speak to groups of children, speak to adults, you know, crowds of adults, is just, and it feels natural, it feels normal, it feels comfortable. It just shows me how much growth, how far I've came, and I think my message on that is that the sky is the limit. I mean, if you have a desire, if you have a passion, if you have a will, you know, pursue it. Don't just think about it.
Absolutely.
And
Are you keeping track of how many copies sold of your book?
you know what? I haven't checked lately, but I can. There's software that's connected to the sales that I do have to look.
Well, you've been a little busy. This
Yeah,
isn't your only
no, that's not. Yeah.
writing work. So talk about some of the other things that you're writing. I know that you're writing for documentaries. Is that correct?
That's correct. I have another project. It's called The Cartel King. It's a screenplay that I wrote. It's a trilogy. And, you know, it's a gangster movie, but there's a message in it. And of course, when I do my writing, most of my writing I write apart from myself. In the Cartel movie, in the screenplay, I wrote a part as a chauffeur for the cartel. So I always like to get myself involved and my character involved with a lot of my writing, and I'm excited, you know, to film the trailer on that. You know, I got some short films that I'm working on. I've been networking with the local Las Vegas film community. That's one of the reasons why I signed up for school for CSN, their videography and film program, and I've been meeting some really talented people, and I'm excited to move forward with these projects.
When do you think we might be able to see some of that?
That is hard to. It's hard to put a date on that, but
Sure.
hopefully within the next year, the documentary will be done. I am waiting for some other financing on projects, some meetings that are in development from California, from Los Angeles. So we'll see. I mean, it could be a phone call away where some of these projects come through, but it's hard to say, you know, to put a time limit.
When did you realize you had this artistic flair? You said that you didn't read a book until you were incarcerated. So where does that artistic flair come from?
I think it's the passion to want to write, to express myself. When I took my test, my GED test, and I got all, and this was the pre-test, and it was literature and arts, and I got them all right. I mean,
Wow.
the lady was impressed. I mean, she was like, "Wait a minute, you have something here." She goes, "You have a talent. There's something going on here because this is your strongest point here," and that a light bulb clicked on. But I always knew that I didn't know I wanted to be a writer, but I always knew I wanted to work in the movie industry. And I had met a gentleman who was incarcerated with me, and I would always see him at a table by himself, always scribbling. So one day I walked over to him and I says, "Hey, you don't mind if I ask what you're doing?" He says, "I'm writing a screenplay."
Wow.
And a light bulb went on. I said, "A light bulb?" I says, "Okay." I said, "Can you give me every book on screenwriting that you can
Wow.
refer?" So he did. And then after that, I called my sister. I said, "Send me every screenwriting book possible, the best ones."
Wow.
And she did. And that's when I really started getting into it. Even though all my writing skills were not up to par, but I was just writing. And then eventually I started tightening up my writing skills more and more as I took other classes.
Well, we're really excited to hear about all of that. We look forward to seeing something eventually roll out that you're working on, and I'm sure that's going to come in the near future versus the
Absolutely.
far future.
Absolutely.
But I would like to have you back just to discuss your involvement with the program.
Absolutely.
So we'll be right back.